ago, I met Liz. I don't recall where we met at first, but that's not important. What's important is, at the time, Liz's vehicle had special controls. It was a van, it had a lift in the back for the chair, it had all kinds of stuff on the dashboard, the steering wheel, and you know, I'm not an engineer, so one night, we were at Toastmasters meeting, I volunteered to drive her vehicle. I don't remember where we were headed, but thank God it wasn't a long trip. And I got behind the wheel. It took a couple of minutes to figure out that the gas pedal still worked, that I had to watch as I moved my foot from the gas to the brake because there was a bar in the way of some sort, and steering was okay, but we made it. We made it to the meeting. You know, I learned a lot from this, not about driving her van. I spent 35 years in the military. I was a senior officer in the military, and I'm used to giving people directions. You can hear it coming, can't you? Not like Liz gave directions. Liz is so adept at analyzing whatever's going on at the moment, and then telling you, politely, how it might have been done better. And she's always right. That's the amazing part. You know, you've been criticized by people, your husband, your wife, your kids, your neighbors, on how you should not be doing something. No, Liz is constructive, as in Toastmasters. How you may do it better is Liz's. And I love it. I love it. We've known each other, I think we decided, since 1990, something like that. I've got her beat at 12 years in Toastmasters, but I don't have her beat in her analytical skills. No doubt about it. The evening I drove the vehicle was a polyphonic evening. There were little alarms in the car that I was afraid would go off. Liz was giving me instructions as we went down the road, and I was scared to death there were going to be sirens because I was doing something incorrectly. So the potential was there for polyphonic events. But we survived. And that was early on, and the start of a relationship that has lasted these many years. And I'm sure will go on year after year after year.
Julia, do you want to come up? Remember the three? Remind me. Okay. The first time you met Liz, what you like most about Liz, or your favorite memory with Liz?
All right, well, I'll go with the first time I met Liz. When I decided to join Toastmasters, I made a list of 10 Toastmasters clubs, and that were convenient and a good time for me to visit. And I started visiting them, and I think Valley was around number 7 or 8, so it wasn't at the very beginning of the list. And when I walked in the door at Valley, Liz made sure that I felt welcome. She made sure that I knew she wanted me. She wanted me to be at that club. She wanted me to be at that meeting. And I bet if I asked just about anybody who's a member of Valley, you'll say you had a similar experience, that Liz made you feel like she wanted you here. And she just made me feel so welcome. She was a part of the reason that I chose Valley when I joined Toastmasters, because as I said, I had a list of 10 clubs. So anyway, I had a great experience at that first meeting. Liz, and if you recall, DJ, he was the club president, and he opened the meetings with such enthusiasm and vigor. And I went on and visited a couple more clubs, and then I came back because Liz had this fishing pole, and she threw it out into the water like that, and it hooked onto my collar. And then she just reeled me right in to become a member of Valley Toastmasters. So Liz, with her bell ringing, with her encouragement, and when I came back the second time, she informed me that I would get to pick my mentor, and she talked to me about the whole process. And I don't even think Liz was an officer, but she's in Valley, even when she's not an officer, she's still an officer. She's the officer of customer relations, making every person who walks in the door feel welcome. And she will do that with her polyphonic analysis of your speeches and what can be done to help you improve. and I got the red card. So that's my story of the first time I met Liz.
Prince, do you want to come up?
Laughing.
Got it down. Time to play.
Yeah. Go get it, Liz. See, people don't know how I met Liz Bebo. I met Liz Bebo in 2010 at a district conference. She was the chief judge for the international and whatever contest was going on at the time. Liz, with this adorable little face, with a smile that was never truncated, asked me to judge. And I'm running audio at the time, so you can imagine I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to do all of this? Well, much to her chagrin, I managed to pull it off. And we also managed to pull off a friendship of 6 years of bantering back and forth like two old married people. Bear in mind, there are only 3 people on planet Earth that can get me out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. 2 of them are sitting here right now, and that's this woman and that one. The other one is 1,500 miles away in Chicago. That's my mother. But whoever knew that a little old English teacher from Connecticut and a person from the south side of Chicago would actually become the greatest of friends and the meanest of eye counters as a tandem. Liz and I've come to many a Valley meeting just to sit by her and take notes on how to effectively eye count. But Liz kind of understood that I was no slouch in that department either, nor did I truncate the events. So Liz, keep being your usual self and give us your polyphonic analysis of grammar and definitely food, because I sat by her at a new number of Epicurean meetings and she's worse than any food critic on the planet. But Liz, I have nothing but love and respect for you, and that's because the feeling is mutual, and that's why I'm here for you this morning.
We're now going to open up to volunteers. So who would like to next? Mary Ann.
I joined Valley last October, and from the moment walking in the room, I agree with our guests. Liz, amongst others, but more importantly, Liz just, the same thing, she wanted me to be here. From that first meeting, as kind of mentoring me at that point as a guest and what to do and what the process was all about, to just bringing me into Valley, whether I think that was in my mind at that point or not, she is the reason, one of the biggest reasons that I am still here, I believe. She is my mentor. It wasn't because I really openly asked her, she asked me. We decided to meet one day to talk about some things, and it was just awesome. She has guided me and poked and prodded and told me what was right and wrong, and I love her for that. I like the conversations that we have, not only at our meetings, but when we meet for lunch. When I look or think about a person that I want to be someday and be like, I want to be outspoken and say what I have to say. I want to go and do just whatever comes to mind. And that is Liz. She reaches out to everybody. She touches you in a different way. And that's what I hope to have my legacy to follow her as well. Thank you, Liz, for all you do.
So I can't pretend that I've known Liz for that long. I've only been here since April. But I want to tell you about a time very early on in my time in Toastmasters. I was about to give my second speech, and I had picked the speech sort of at the last minute. The slot had freed up, I think, the day before, and I shoved my name in there, hoping for the best, and just wanting to have the opportunity. And for a while, we didn't know who my evaluator was going to be, because the slot, of course, was left blank on the website until the very last second. And then I got an email from Liz that said, "I'll be your evaluator, Nick." I remember meeting with Catherine, my mentor, and telling her that Liz was evaluating me. And she got very excited, like we had pulled off this big coup, like we had landed this star player to a contract. But she was also nervous, because she told me straight up, "Liz will catch you doing anything. Be sure to push the lectern away, otherwise you'll get dinged. Make sure you write an intro, otherwise she will get after you for it." And Liz had asked me to send her some notes on what I was looking for out of my evaluation. So, of course, in my best tribute to Liz, I typed up about a page and a half, I believe. Questions, comments, notes, ideas, and hopes, and went trudging on into my speech. And I'll never forget that Liz, when she handed back my book, had not only filled out every single line of space to write and evaluate, but she'd gone on to, I believe, 2 blank pages that she had shoved inside the book, and even pointed out to everybody at the meeting how much I had asked and how much detail I had given her for my evaluation. And this, to me, is just a microcosm of who Liz is and what Liz is about. The fact that she immediately vacated her spot so she could advise me and evaluate me, the fact that she doggedly came after everything that I might have done wrong, but that's all I ever wanted from her, and I think that's all a lot of us ever want from Liz. And so we know what we're getting with Liz, right? From the polyphonic sounds of the bell dinging in between comments, and then the bell dinging again, the usual counter jokes. Liz gives us something that we can't find many other places. Somebody who's earnest, honest, sincere, and even if she can seem very, very harsh, she always wants to help, and I know I'm better for receiving her help.
We've had some suggestions come up. So next up is Lori Kay.
So I am one that, out of many of the members, have known Liz the longest. January will be my 20th year at Valley, not counting the last 2 years that I haven't been a consistent participant of Valley Toastmasters. But the first time that I came to Valley Toastmasters when I joined was in January 1997. And I remember meeting Liz, and I also remember that as soon as I joined, she, I believe, was one that always encouraged new members to become an officer. And I think within a month after I became a member of Valley Toastmasters, I was maybe vice president of education, or whatever it was 20 years ago. And I think that everyone who has shared something about Liz, I don't really think there's anything else that I can add to that. I think everyone is basically covered. Liz wears a lot of hats, and since I've known her, she's done the bells in church. She's been an usher at the Orpheum and the Phoenix Symphony, and you name it. She has a compassion for music, and of course her cats, and Facebook, and everything that everyone mentioned. And I think that the polyphonic of it is again that she wears many hats. And I hope that Liz is going to be around for another 30 years, and I hope that in 30 years that we'll all be here and we'll all have a 60th Valley membership anniversary for Liz. And so I just want to thank Liz for what I see in her, something that benefits all of us. And whether you've met her for the first time or you've known her for 20, 30 years, she will always have a special place in her heart.
James, do you want to join us up here?
30 years, 1986. So let's see, the great communicator Ronald Reagan was our president. Back to the Future was still in theaters, and I hate to tell you this, I'm going to embarrass you. I was starting kindergarten. But 28 years after 1986, I had the pleasure of walking in to Valley Toastmasters for the first time, and I was immediately interrogated by a woman who came up to me and started asking me, "Why are you here? What do you want to get out of this? What do you need to work on?" I'm like, whoa, I don't know. And although it was a little intimidating, and that's saying a lot because I'm in a profession like Captain where I get interrogated by lawyers every day and none of them can hold a candle to Liz, it did cause me to reflect and to think about why I joined Valley Toastmasters. Well, with a little bit of encouragement from Liz, I finally got up and did my icebreaker, and I was really excited as I went through my feedback forms and I read from Liz, "Great speech, but one problem. Your socks don't match. One is blue and one is black. Well, Liz, because of you, I've started wearing crazy socks that will always match." But more than that, and more than what Liz does, I think we can all agree that Liz inspires us. About a year ago, there was a story of Liz always wanting to go up and fly into the sky in a cherry picker, which is I think, slightly unusual but very exciting dream, and you managed to pursue that, and you always do that. In everything you do, you're sincere, you're genuine, you're caring, and I think we can all say you're our friend.
Most of you that are here in Toastmasters probably see me or some of my photographs on the internet. I want to share something very intimate about this wonderful woman that I met. And my husband Prince has already said how great she's been in our lives. When I had my stroke in January of this year, I didn't really know that I would make it through. But it was moments of remembering wonderful moments like with you, Liz, that got me through your illness and what you went through and how you were able to bounce back. Sometimes we don't know how much a person can affect your life until you are placed in that moment where it's your moment of truth. And you were my moment of truth when I felt that I didn't have any hope. And when my husband wanted to become a real Toastmaster, you mentored him. And every night that I would get up and I would hear my husband say something, he would remember, I remembered him saying things so nice about you and how you were not like any other Toastmaster because you went for the juggler and you made him better than he ever thought he could be. To this day, Prince has a reputation everywhere he goes in Toastmasters, and I do believe that is the mark that you left, with him being the most wonderful all-counter and holding people accountable in a way that supersedes the norm. And I just want to thank you for everything that you've done in our lives. Maybe we don't give people flowers while they're alive, but I think the moment that you all have given us to honor Liz is one of the greatest things in the world because time changes and it waits for no one. And I believe that maybe you don't know. We love you a lot. We came all the way from Gilbert. We woke up real early. Thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, we love you.
I joined Toastmasters a long time ago back in Wisconsin, and then I was in Toastmasters a long time, then I dropped out for like 12 years. Came back to Toastmasters and I found this club. And so I came and it was a really nice club, very relaxed. You could just tell, you walk into the room, everything's being run right. And then we had time during the meeting when our general evaluator got up to evaluate the meeting. That was Liz. And I remember sitting there kind of relaxed, this is really nice, nice club. And then Liz started evaluating. You should be doing this, you should be doing that, this is not right, this is good, this is bad. And I remember kind of sitting there kind of... And I remember I was talking to myself and I was saying, yes, Mrs. Bebo, no, Mrs. Bebo. And I realized that the club is so successful is because in Toastmasters you have to do the right things. And there's somebody in the club who makes you do the right things, and that was Liz. She was the one. That's the reason I think this club has been so successful for so long, is because she's making us do things right. And that's why we're successful. I think we owe all of her. And with the polyphonic closing, thank you very much. Thank you guys.
So many of us have mentioned different aspects of Liz's personality and legacy, and I wanted to add one more, and that's matchmaker. So after my icebreaker speech, Liz went up to a certain man and said, "You should ask her out." This was in July, and then by August, when things weren't progressing, nothing had happened. After a social event, a Toastmaster social event, bowling, when he went up to return his shoes, I think you met him and said, "So are you going to ask her out?" And he said, yes, I'm planning on. So then, and he and I were in lanes next to each other for that bowling event. And as we were walking out, I think Lori and Liz approached the car and said, "Well, why don't you guys go out for a drink right now?" And I said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I can go out for a drink." So we went out for a drink at the Big, and that was the first. And I think 4 months later we were engaged, and now we have 2 children. And when I was asking David what I should write in the cards, he said, "You have to say that she helped facilitate the greatest moments in both of our lives." So thank you for that. Once Liz said that she believes that everyone deserves to be heard. And I think that's such a powerful mission to have. So thank you.
Oh, and
Here's Cody.
There's no coincidence that the word love begins with the letter L. So does Liz's name. They say that there's 4 kinds of love. There's agape, there's eros, the passionate, sexy love. There's agape, love for the community. And then there's some other type of love that they talk about that I can't remember. But they're wrong. Because they don't know Liz. Because what Liz has, what Liz does, who Liz is that other kind of love. The kind of love that is so supportive. The kind of love that doesn't make you feel bad, but helps you face what's in the mirror. in a way that you don't discount yourself. For me, Liz is that she's setting the marker just a little bit ahead of where I am all the time. And it's so good, Liz. Thank you so much. We love you very much in a polyphonic sort of a way.
So then we have a little time after, because if anybody noticed, the alarm stopped going off. We can go in there after, but we have one more table topic. So Doug Means.
Even written notes for this prompting moment. I am the listener. First of all, I think it's very cute that all of you are saying these really deep moments to Liz, because all she's thinking is he's not addressing none of us are addressing the right side of the room. Hasn't heard a word that we said. As far as the three things we're supposed to talk about, I started thinking about that when you first said it, and it wasn't necessarily my first moment of meeting Liz, but I've noticed when a guest comes into Toastmasters, your magical ability to invite them to be a member and to instill in them that you're good enough to be in this club. You're not, after thoroughly looking them up and down and asking them some probing questions that we heard earlier, and also instilling in them that you're lucky enough to be in this club. You could be a member of Valley Toastmasters. We would be able to do that. And Liz says, I'll help you in that. Not necessarily spelling that out, but right there. The book, I think, is an amazing thing because of two things. One, you will look in that book. I don't have any idea what's in it. I just saw the cover of it. But it is perfectly appropriate. Is on the front of it, it is you being silly, and it is you looking at or being by the arts and the stuff that you do with things like that. So your curiosity and fun is a neat part of it. But most importantly, you'll look in there and you'll see people, and I have no idea why it's hitting me right there. And you'll see people that you haven't seen in a long time and realize the potential that they had. And you'll look at it and smile.
Nice going. So, Liz, I first met you when I sat next to you at my very first meeting. And at that time, people used to ask us who we wanted to be our mentors right when we joined. And I wanted Liz. I went up to Doug, who was the president at the time, and I said, Liz, I want Liz to be my mentor. And Doug's response was, yeah, she has too many mentees, so pick someone else. And I was like, thanks, Doug, cool. But, Liz, I know you were a little surprised this morning. Good thing you guys all showed up about 20 minutes after Liz got here because it took some convincing for her to stay. But I didn't want to bring champagne because it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and so we have little cupcakes, if you got one, and we're all going to toast with little cupcakes. So Liz, here's your big cupcake. If you don't want the little ones. So if you guys all want to... You want to raise your cupcakes, and here's to Liz, and many more Toastmasters years to come. Cheers. 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 Speech.
Speech.
Toastmasters.
Yes.
Speech.
Yes.
I know that they have photographic evidence that when I walked in that door, I had no idea what was going on. And I almost did leave.
And then when the alarm went off, there would have been a good opportunity to leave, a good reason to leave.
We would have brought you back, Liz.
I wouldn't have come back, Mary Ann, I would have been hiding. The gamut of people that are here this morning, from Bill Bristol, who's probably known me longer than anyone else here, to the newer Toastmasters, Jen coming back, and Nikki, and my history with each one of you is significant to me, meaningful to me. You've been awfully harsh to me today, and I will indeed find a way to be harsh back again, but with love. You know, I say when I ring the bell that I do it with love, and I do it because I care about you. It's not to be critical. And if I'm coming across as critical, then I am absolutely doing something very wrong, and I don't mean to do that. So line up over here after the meeting, and if you feel I've been critical, then I want to talk to you. There's a reason why this club is the club that it is, and it isn't me, it's all of you. And all of the people that have walked into this door, stayed here for a time, and even walked out of the door. Toastmasters is an amazing program, and the people that give it a chance find that out. And there are lifers like Mike and Lori, who I thought was a lifer but may not be, and Lucinda and Catherine, some of the retreads who have come back, Catherine being one, James being one, David being one, who have gone away but come back again. It's a testament to what this club is. This club is not me. This club is Toastmasters. It's Valley Toastmasters. And as long as I can get here, I will continue to do what I do and what I hope all of you will do to make it the club that it is. I have never, I don't think, been as surprised, completely surprised, as I was this morning. So that in itself is a feat that you carried off with amazing fun. And I am very, very grateful. Thank you.
We get out of most approved for a minute. I just need to point out a couple of things. We did not plan the fire department here. And if many of you, most of you know that her dream was to get in one of those fire department cherry pickers. So I can't, and Doug made that happen. And I don't think we could have planned that any better. I tried to get them to stick around for some photos, but that didn't work.
It's not the firemen, it's the height, the experience.
Right. Well, you've given us some amazing experiences, and this is I don't even think any of us realized until about a minute ago that the fire alarm has been off. And I don't know if anybody even noted when it went off. And we're sitting out here, and the flippin' Arizona heat hangs soaked, as I know many of us are, and it's because we love you so much. And thank you for everything you've done for each and every one of us. And you are our most improved today.
Thank you very much. Well, you weren't surprised. I mean, you were surprised, just not pleasantly. So don't do it again. Next week, same thing.
When's your birthday, Liz?
Yeah. So just some club business really fast. The Liz celebration's over, guys, so it's done now. But last week I told you guys, everybody, girls and guys, that I was going to start recognizing people, and Cherie